Welcome to the Gallery Girl podcast. Gallery Girl is a London-based website and curatorial platform dedicated to contemporary art from across the globe. In this podcast, we're going to focus on female artists, curators, and practitioners who highlight art with roots in West Asia and North Africa. Enjoy. Welcome to the Gallery Girl podcast. Today, my guests are Anna Seaman, Jen Stelko, and Claire Harris from MORROW Collective, NFT curators based in Dubai, who are bringing well-established and experienced artists to the NFT space. Their debut exhibition, Genesis, is running online right now and marks a starting point for many of the featured artists in the show into the world of crypto art. I'm super excited to have them and for them to explain to us a little bit about crypto art and the world of NFTs. So welcome, all of you.
Hi, thank you. This is cool.
For the uninitiated, and I guess a lot of people will be asking, what exactly is a non-fungible token or an NFT?
Okay, so to take it right back to the beginning, basically a few years back before NFTs, digital art really had no value because there was no way of making it scarce because it's also reproducible and anybody could see it online and right-click save, and everybody has the same kind of access to the to a JPEG. But now, using blockchain technology, basically you can take any digital file like a JPEG or a MP4 or audio, whatever, and by putting it on the blockchain, the process is called tokenizing. So by tokenizing it, you give it like a signature, which makes it an authentic, one of a kind, and it means that you can prove who the owner is. So although an NFT is still accessible for everybody to see, anybody can still right-click save it or, screenshot, but it's very clear who the owner is.
Right.
So that is the value because it's all of a sudden scarce and collectible.
Yeah, so the value is in the ownership.
Yeah, exactly.
So you all have quite different backgrounds, from journalism to artists yourselves. How did you all come together?
Okay, well, we all live in Dubai and we're actually friends and neighbours. That's how we met. I think that's how all those things start, proximity. You're right, we all have different backgrounds, but we all have a love of art, whether that's from writing about it, making it, or being involved in promoting it. So it was a good marriage of minds and skills, and it's working really well.
Amazing. And what gave you three the idea to create MORROW? And why did you choose the name MORROW?
I'll take that one. So, well, as you know, Jen is an NFT artist herself, with a traditional background. It's been how many years now? 10 years. 10 years of traditional artist. And so she started last year in NFTs. And as friends of hers, we obviously learned our first introduction on NFTs, and quite frankly, I'll go home and Google it and be like, well, what is she talking about? So that's how I personally learned about it. And because of that, started learning about the industry and how it all works. And we would just kind of discuss what's happening and how her work's going and everything. And then we just kind of were like, what's really missing here is there's no gallery representation. There's no, successful, mature artworks from the real world being represented in this space. We also worked out there's, as it's very new, there's a lot of, barriers to entry, especially tech and getting, here's a piece of art, how do we get it over there and how do we get it seen? So we thought if we could remove those barriers and boundaries and help these artists, these artworks and these galleries become part of this space, it would be a really unique and great platform that's actually missing in the market. So that's how it came about. And then we fortunately were able to go to Art Dubai, which, as you know, is the first physical art exhibition since COVID. Art fair, sorry. Yeah. And so we went there where we floated the idea. So we put our business plan together, our branding and concept development there, and then it just kicked off from there. And it's been a good 3 months now, right?
Yeah.
And why MORROW? So this is a really great question as well. So we really believe that this is the future of art. And so MORROW being a shortened term of tomorrow and representing the similar wording, it also is almost a mirror of itself, this word. So the M, the O, and the R are almost like traditional arts looking to the future, and then the R and O and the W are almost mirrored looking back. So we're bridging those two worlds together, which has been a goal of ours from the start. And obviously you'll see the O's are joined with a line, and that's representing digital. So the blockchain, cryptocurrency, and how all of this is all online.
Amazing, really well thought out. And you guys currently have your first show online now, Genesis, and I wanted to know how you put that together, because it's really impressive. It's on multiple levels and it's like a real gallery, and it sounds really difficult. And I actually saw a video on YouTube of Anna with a physical model of the space, which is really cool. Yeah. So how did you actually do that?
What we did was we created partnerships with galleries. Most of them are in Dubai, but we're international, so we're only, just because we're here in Dubai, obviously it was easier in the beginning to make connections with people here. But we do have one gallery from New York and one from Sydney and one from Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
And we pulled, as you would maybe in the real life as a curator, we pulled work from each of those galleries and then sorted it thematically. So the gallery space that you're talking about, the big one in the metaverse, is huge. Space is not really limited. So we had 2 buildings and we had 5 levels. And so we broke it into 5 themes. The artwork, we had 60 artworks in the end. We broke it into 5 themes. And then we had to enter this process of hanging it in the exhibition, which is obviously like a technical. It's just getting your head around using the platform. And the way I can most easily describe it is I made this model because I wanted it to be like and feel like a real life experience. So, whatever hangs next to each other has a narrative between it. There is a relationship. There's a journey as you walk through. And the curatorial emphasis is what we were all about, to really want to show art with substance and narrative. So that's the short version of how we put it together. It took a long time.
Yeah, the first night when we were actually hanging in crypto voxels in the virtual space, we absolutely tore our hair out because there was a lot of why isn't it working, and little technical issues. But after like a couple of hours of figuring it out, we kind of got the hang of it. But yeah, it's all sort of new to us as well. But it's been an exciting journey.
Yeah, you've done your first show on quite a big scale, so.
Yeah.
You probably did it the biggest you could do it, but it's really impressive. It really does feel like a real gallery, and I think as a viewer or potential buyer, it's quite nice that isn't familiar with digital art. It's quite nice to have that feeling that you are in a traditional gallery space, albeit a digital one. I think that's quite nice.
Totally.
And a lot of the artworks are like, obviously they're digital, but they're animated and they move a little bit. And I understand that you help some of the artists animate their work, if that's the right term. How did you do that?
So what we wanted to do was to make the transition for these artists as seamless as possible. And a lot of them had never touched on animating before. So we very much worked like a team. So with the artist guidance, I used my animation skills to sort of pull off what they were describing. A couple of the artists did all of their own animation and audio. But yeah, I just helped with technicalities on some of them. But it's all down to the artist's final decision. I guess you would sort of use the analogy of like, there's a lot of traditional artists like sculptors that might not actually use their own hands to build their concepts, but like hire people to do like the labor and stuff. So it was a little bit like that sort of situation. So although I was helping with the animation, in a lot of the cases, it was never really, I wouldn't call myself a collaborator or an artist. It's more just like technical. But interestingly, a lot of the artists knew exactly, they had a good vision of what they wanted the NFTs to look like. So, and I think now that they've seen it and it's happened, the next steps for them will be to do it themselves.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I guess
I'm expecting people to kind of go down this rabbit hole that I initially went down, because I'm a traditional artist. Originally, I learned how to animate kind of on the fly using YouTube tutorials and things, because I just got swept up in it and I fell in love with it, and I see that happening to a lot of our artists as well.
Yeah, I almost feel like you're probably the dream person for them to collaborate with, because all of a sudden NFTs are everywhere and that's the hot commodity and you're helping them with it. So
right,
it's probably really great for the artists too.
Yeah. And I love building relationships with other artists, and that's been part of it. Like, we have a lot of Zoom meetings with almost none of the artists are based in Dubai, but we've built these relationships with them by talking about the art a lot, and that's one of my favourite parts of the job, actually.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So obviously MORROW's exhibition and the metaverse is viewable to everyone in the world just by the nature of it being digital. But the three of you are based in the UAE and a lot of your artists do come from the Arab region. Like, what is the digital art landscape like in the UAE right now?
Okay, I'm going to take this one.
Okay.
Okay, you mentioned something really important, which is that it is available to everyone and accessible to everyone, and that's one of the reasons that we are so keen to explore this platform, because it breaks down boundaries. There are no geographical boundaries, and what's really cool and interesting is that we can reach out to people in all over the world and give them a bigger audience. I mean, in Dubai itself, Dubai is a city which is constantly always updating itself and at the forefront, and there are a lot of people here who are innovative and pushing things forward. So I think there's definitely a feeling in the city that things are picking up, and there are a lot of people getting involved in NFTs and wanting to make NFTs. In the region, it's less so. It's kind of very varied. We live in a region of quite a lot of different types of people in different types of countries. I mean, for example, we have photographers from North Africa, we have Palestinian painters, we have a woman in Kazakhstan who's making art from plastic bags, somebody in Lebanon. So, there's a huge, vast range of countries and people. And that's why we like the democratizing aspect of NFTs. I think Dubai is a great place to be, though, also geographically, because we're in the center of the world. And as I said, because there are a lot of things and opportunities here happening. I mean, hopefully we're in the right place at the right time to make that transition from the physical to the digital sphere.
Yeah.
There are sort of digital art centres opening up around as well in Dubai. So the Theatre of Digital Art is a really good one in the Madinah. We have a lot of touring shows and exhibitions that are all about digital art. So I think we're at the forefront, so it's a really good place to be.
Yeah, I think so too. But you're also, speaking of digital, you're also planning a physical exhibition in the next couple of months. What is that process like, and how is that going to work?
Yes, so this is super exciting. This is a real great opportunity to bridge the two worlds. And also educate people as well on not only what NFTs are, but how they can fit into your life or into your investment or into your collection. So it will be called NFT-IRL, so it will be incorporating the two worlds. And we'll be having screens around the exhibition that will showcase the digital version of the original asset. So we'll be having the artwork on the wall and then the screen that has the animation or NFT. And each artist, we have 7 currently, will have between 1 and 4 pieces on show. So we'll also be detailing how, if you would like to purchase an NFT, how that works. And also we actually offer the physical pieces via our platform as well. So that's a super exciting thing that's happening. This is actually the first in the region, correct me if I'm wrong, for this type of exhibition, to showcase NFTs and IRL in real life pieces together.
And it's going to be held at Ferretti Contemporary, one of our gallery partners, and we're a part of our Genesis show as well. And it was their idea to put on a physical exhibition in partnership with us, and it's actually a really perfect space for it. They've got a huge warehouse. It's a brand new gallery, loads of spaces for screens. It's even really lucky because they're doing renovations right now, and we can put in some extra power sockets and stuff. So yeah, and the artists are amazing. It's going to look really good, and it's great for us as well because we've got a lot of people that we know, who are trying to introduce to this world, who still can't quite grasp that we don't have a physical gallery. So it'd be nice to sort of show people we can show you our metaverse gallery, but also this physical one for a few weeks so you can come and see.
Yeah. And is this gallery in Dubai as well?
Yeah.
Yep, it's in Dubai. It's in Al Sakat Avenue. In the exhibition, the Genesis exhibition, they have four artists already in the exhibition, and for the new exhibition, we're adding three new artists. So yeah, it's going to be good.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Al Sakat is the perfect space
and
for something like that.
We've got a mosaic piece coming, and we've got massive sculptures and paintings and collage
and augmented reality as well. We'll be introducing that, which is super exciting.
We're also toying with the idea of having a VR corner set up for VIPs to tour the metaverse gallery while they're there. So it's going to be a real a big merge of physical, digital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're working with so many amazing artists right now. Like, which of your artists, do you have any standout artists or standout artworks that you've been working with over the last couple of months?
Honestly, you sent the questions beforehand, and I looked at this question and I thought, oh yeah, I'll answer that question. But it's really hard to say which we're most excited about. I mean, we have some quite big, well-established names in our Genesis exhibition. We have Sarah Rathbar, who has... who's really well established in the US, and her work is in the collection of some of the biggest museums. We have Hazem Harb, who's also fairly well established, and he's Palestinian and he's working out of Dubai. We also have artists like Halim Al Karim, who is an Iraqi artist who again lives in the US, has quite a big established following. But what I think is really exciting for us is also reaching out to people who have never exhibited internationally before. We have an Indigenous Australian artist who makes artwork from silk scarves, who's never exhibited outside of she has a gallery in Dubai, but basically she's never reached out to international audiences. We have people like Jacques, I can't say his name properly. Bartabillian. So he's a Lebanese guy, and he's in our exhibition in Ferretti as well, coming up. And he's interesting because he's represented by Ferretti Gallery, but he's really excited about entering into the NFT sphere. It's something that gives him an opportunity as an artist who's working in a country that's struggling a lot at the moment, especially with they're having an economic crisis. So for him to have avenues to find other ways to have a career out of his art is also really interesting. We have artists from Africa, artists from Asia, really all over the world. So it's hard for me to pick or anyone else.
I feel like you have all every part of the globe covered almost.
Quite a good chunk of it.
Amazing. So you're three really impressive women working within the art world in a sphere that is relatively new, but you've also had very interesting individual careers beforehand and in addition to this. Do you have any advice for young women looking to follow in your footsteps?
It's a really good question. I think we all might have something to say about it. The first thing I would say is be very aware and take time to know your skill set and where you really excel. And don't be afraid to ask for things, ask for help, ask for or find people who can join you on your journey to do what you're doing. You'll be, what I've personally learned is, you'll be surprised how many people actually want to help. So just by putting your feelers out there and working out what you need has been really helpful. And also surround yourself with like-minded people or people who are going down the same kind of journey. So other freelancers or other startups, or, find a tech hub, for example, for us, where you can work from. So where these little questions that you have along the way, these are very well connected people and connected little companies that like to see people thrive and succeed. Also say go for it.
Worst case scenario, it doesn't work and you try again.
Yeah.
Failure is
it's the biggest lesson.
Say you can you know, your journey might change along the way,
right.
and your actual goals and business model might change along the way. And things will not work. You'll have challenges that you'll need to like adjust to and pivot to, and you know, we're learning daily that our model is evolving, and you know, the opportunities that are coming our way we didn't expect from the start. And you know, these are really exciting avenues that we're going to go down now that wasn't part of our original plan. So yeah,
I think also just to add to anyone young and, you know, starting out, this is ever since COVID, it's such a different world, and I think that we are, oh my gosh, I lost the train of thought.
It's okay.
Sorry. People nowadays are, you know, it's a decentralized world. The whole system behind NFTs and cryptocurrency is about decentralizing things and moving things away from big sources of power. So like there is really a good time to be opportunistic and go for it, what you want to do yourself, rather than look to, you know, everyone else. It's a world now where people are used to working from home. People are all connected digitally. You don't have to rely on, you know, like I said, the big systems of power to give you an in. You can make your own like progress in this world.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to add one thing that is quite specific to NFTs. A lot of artists who are thinking about making a transition into trying NFTs, my biggest tip would be absolutely have to be on Twitter. I know that most artists use Instagram as like their main social media platform, but to sell any NFTs really to all of the collectors, all of the NFT collectors are really on Twitter, and they like to reach out to artists on Twitter, and that's how they connect with them. So get a Twitter profile. That's what we're encouraging all of our artists to do as well.
Amazing. Yeah. I actually prefer Twitter to Instagram, but that's good to know. So what are your guys' plans for the future of MORROW Collective beyond the next exhibition?
Well, I mean, in an ideal world, where we really see ourselves in future is having our own fully developed platform where we can whitelist galleries to mint their art on behalf of their artists on our platform. So the way we're working at the moment is we have like an OpenSea storefront, which is where all of our NFTs are. And a lot of the work we do is kind of based around our metaverse gallery. But yeah, down the line, when we have the means and you know, the exact direction, we'd like to have our own minting platform. We also just love, we want to continue to build these relationships with galleries and with artists and continue the education about NFTs. And we also really want to make it our mission to bring we don't want to just sell to established NFT collectors or people who bought cryptocurrency when it was very, very cheap and they have all this money to spend. We really want to bring in traditional art collectors and introduce younger generations to art collecting. And that will be the true marriage of the worlds, I think. What I would love to see is an old school traditional art collector jumping on board. We can hold their hand through the whole process, show them how to buy their first NFT, and then buy themselves a digital screen, put it in their home, in amongst all of the paintings they maybe already collected. That's what I'd like to see happen next. And I think this is all coming. There's a lot of big establishments are now starting to jump into NFTs. You know, all of the major auction houses, Christie's, Sotheby's, Bonhams, they're all having NFT auctions now. And I think it's just a matter of time before the rest of the art world follows suit. We are super early in this game, which is not a bad thing. It might mean that to start with, we're a bit of a slow burner, but we're here early and we're definitely sticking around. So we'll just watch it all. We'll watch it all, transform and evolve. And it's going to be so cool to watch from the beginning all the way through. I would love to just see, like, you know, open a little window into just 1 year into the future and see what it looks like, because it moves so quickly. It's kind of hard to imagine.
Sure, yeah. But it's so exciting, this journey you're going on, and going along with your art. Like a lot of your artists, it's their beginning into this stuff as well. So it must be so exciting to go on this journey with them.
Yeah, it is actually, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just add a few specifics about the future. Obviously, we hope for everything that Jen said, but we are also planning another exhibition on this scale in September or October. Probably we'll do about 3 or 4 a year on this big scale, like we did with Genesis. And in the meantime, we'll have shorter pop-up exhibitions, which are shorter in time frame and also shorter in smaller in size, and hopefully more real life exhibitions, definitely more thematic exhibitions. So focus on a specific narrative or story.
Yeah. We also do want to bring in a way of connecting with undiscovered artists and maybe Indigenous artists and underprivileged artists, and giving them a easy transition into this as well. So we want to try to give back a little bit with what we're doing. Oh, it's probably also important to mention that we are offsetting all of the carbon. I know there's a lot of concern at the moment with NFTs and the carbon footprint, but we are, definitely nipping that one in the bud.
Amazing. And was there anything else that you wanted to add about the amazing work that you're doing?
Now you've caught us off guard. I think you covered most of it. Generally what we're about is we want to make things simple, like simplifying what could be a very overwhelming world for many people. Cryptocurrency, metaverse, NFT, all these new terms. We are trying to demystify that. We're trying to show that there is a space for the way that the traditional art world works, and maybe this is just a change in the way that the market works. It is revolutionary, and it is going to change things definitely for the better for artists, in terms of protecting their rights, protecting the fraud. You can't copy an NFT. You can't you can't doubt who's owned it, all the provenance, all of the things that normally maybe can be a bit blurry in the art world is super clear now. So it's definitely the way things are going, and we're just trying to, like I said, demystify it, curate, produce quality exhibitions, and bring people in from both sides.
And fundamentally bring art to people who will not have been able to have access to that or see that previously.
Yeah.
It's a super big part of what we're doing as well with the bridging of the two worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really important, and it's so exciting what you're doing, especially now when a lot of us haven't travelled in over a year, and we can't we can't go and see things in the same way that we might have done so traditionally. Well, thank you so much for telling me all about MORROW Collective and all your exciting plans, and just educating people about what a non-fungible token actually is. I'm really excited for people to listen to this, and links to MORROW Collective's exhibitions and their marketplace and a lot more information about them is at morrow-collective.com, and they're also on Twitter and Instagram. So yeah, thank you so much, all of you.
Thanks, Lizzy. This is great.
It's really fun.